So we're going to create a program in Scratch today that makes use of a lot of the different features within Scratch. So I'm here at scratch.mit.edu and we're going to create it right in here under the Create button. Once you click Create, it will take you into your Scratch editor. We'll close that tutorial and remove the Scratch cat. We're going to do a sort of a boat maze. We're going to drive a boat through a maze and make it land it on a beach. And we'll get started by making the maze in our backdrop. So in our backdrop here, let's go down and choose Paint. And we'll get started. We're going to make the parts of the maze that the boat cannot get through, we're going to make them sort of a brown color. So drag your sliders until you get to the color that you want. And we're going to paint with this paintbrush. I need a larger brush, so I'll change that to be 40. I'll start by painting around the outside. Make sure you don't have any gaps. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just kind of paint around here. And we want to start the boat down here. And so we'll make some different structures for it to go through, and it'll be the finish line down here. And you can create other little items in here that make it more difficult. You can make the maze however you want, but the brown is going to be the part that the maze isn't going to be, the boat's not going to be able to get through. That will crash into those parts, sort of the wood of that. And let's put some color into here, so I'll choose the paint bucket. I want a blue color. And we need a target, so we're going to have it land on a beach. Change back to my paintbrush. We want sort of a yellow color for the beach, so we can kind of paint that down here in the corner. And you can do something different if you want. It needs to be a different color from the water and the wood. So my backdrop's done for now. We're going to look maybe later on at doing some additions, but that's good. And we need a boat. And so rather than drawing the boat, we're going to upload it. So go down to your little sprite icon and click Upload Sprite. I have a boat in the S drive under 8th grade computers. Just click on Boat and choose Open. The boat comes in rather big, so we're going to make that pretty small. Let's try 20 there. That's a good size for us. And I'm going to point it going up because that's how we want it to start. So I can actually just type in 0 here. And I want to move that boat where it's going to start. Now we're going to add in some code that allows us to move the boat. To do that, let's start with events when flag is clicked. And I want to, under motion, initially say point in the direction of 0. Make sure that we're pointed where we want to be. And go to that position there. If you see, if I move my boat now, click on the flag, it resets it at the starting point, pointing up, and that's what I want. Now I want to be able to move it with my mouse. So to do that, I'm going to put in what's called a forever loop, which is often used in games because it's something that goes on forever during my game. It's constantly repeating the statements that are in here. It's very common in games to have a forever loop. A forever game loop will allow us to put things in that happen continually. And to make it move, I want to point towards my mouse pointer, and I'm going to have it move 1 step. And you'll see once you have that, it'll start moving there as you go along. Okay. The next thing is to get it to crash into the sides, and to do that we're going to add a costume to our boat. So if I have my boat selected under sprites and come up to costumes, I can come here and duplicate this sprite, and what I'm going to do is make it look like a boat crash. Let's change the name of this to be Hit. And using my selector here, I can just select pieces and move them around, maybe separate them out so it looks like the boat has crashed and broken apart. And you can break it into as many pieces as you want. That'll be good enough for me for now. And you can see my boat is crashed over here now. So let's go back into the code, and let's set at the beginning under looks, let's set that costume to be boat at the beginning. If I click on my flag, it's now the boat. So now to make it crash, I need to do a little bit of sensing. So inside of my forever loop, I'm going to add an if statement that allows me to make a decision about something. In my case, I'm going to be sensing whether or not it's touching a certain color. In our case, it's the color of our wood. Rather than trying to figure out what that is, when I click on the color, down here there's a little eyedropper. And if I come over to my backdrop, you can see there's a little magnifying glass, and I click on that color. It's exactly the color that I want. So what do I want to do when it's touching the color? Well, first of all, I want it to crash. But before that, before I have it crash, I'm going to have it switch to my costume and say a message. So we'll switch to the costume of the hit, and we'll have a little message here. So we're going to say something like no for 2 seconds. So now if I play this and I run into the side, it crashes. Okay, but it stays that way forever now, and that's not really what I want to do. So after I've done that, I want to go here. So I'm going to take these three statements here, right click on them and duplicate them, and bring them right into here. So what that's going to do is sort of reset my game. So after I've done the hit and I've crashed, waits 2 seconds, and then now I've started back at the beginning, and it's starting over for me. I should now be able to navigate through my project and get to the end. Now, I've given you all the pieces that you really need to make this game finish, but I'm going to let you do the other part, which is you can come in here and make it so when it's touching this color, it maybe says something like you win, and restarts it back to the beginning, and that's the part I want you to do. Think about maybe even duplicating this if statement here so that you can see what's going on, and then make some modifications on maybe what it says, and obviously not have the hit. So see if you can get that finished. Once you have that done, we can talk about some other ways we can improve this game by maybe having a timer that gets running as the boat is going. We have some other obstacles in here, maybe something that's spinning around for it to go around, a little bit more complicated, maybe some things that make it speed up. So those are some things that we can look at to improve the functionality of this game, but that's the basis of how to get started. Good luck.